future lie in the hands of its own people. We believe in republican form of government where power is vested in the citizens and where the rule of law prevails without the influence of any single individual or ideology. Our vision is of a secular democracy where the separation of religion and the state ensure that all citizens, regardless of their belief, are treated equally and under the law. Our journey began with the realization that there was no existing group in Australia that fully aligned with our value and aspiration. We sought to create a platform where individuals who believe in the necessity of a republican system free from a monarchical rule could come together and work toward a common goal. The yard is inclusive, welcoming members from across the politicians' spectrum, as long as they share our core belief in a democratic and secular Iran. Our story began with the Green Movement back in 2008. The 2008 Green Movement in Iran highlighted the people's demand for democracy and human rights. Despite brutal repression, it's evolved into the Women's Life Freedom protest, which spotlights the systematic oppression of women and marginalized groups. Protesters faced violence, imprisonment, and death, but their struggle continued for dignity and freedom against a dictatorship regime. We are a diverse group of social, civil, and cultural activists who have come to the conclusion that the problem facing Iran cannot be solved without fundamental changes. Our understanding of Iran's contemporary history has led us to recognize the structure of power and need for democratic transition. We believe that just as overthrow of Shah led to a theocratic rule, rather than a democracy, there is a risk of a new dictatorship emerging after the current regime. Therefore, we are committed to advocating for a peaceful transition to a democratic system rather than an individual person. Republicanism and the power of people. With republicanism advocates for sovereignty belong to the people, not a single ruler. Unlike monarchies, which centralize power in a king or queen, republicanists promote a government accountable to the people through active participation and check and balance. This ensures leaders are elected and responsible, contrasting with autocratic regime that limits freedom and centralized power. Our values are rooted in a democratic principle, respect for human rights, and the belief in a power of collective action. We stand for a system where no individual holds unchecked power, and where the government is accountable to the people. We envision a future where Iran is governed by a secular democratic republic with a clear separation between religious and states. In pursuit of this vision, we are dedicated to empowering women, youth, and ethnic minority, workers, and all marginalized groups in Iran. We believe in the strength of diversity and importance of inclusivity in building a just and equitable society. Our organization is committed to transparency, democratic practices, and the rule of law in all of our own activity. To achieve our goal, we focus on several key areas. Commitment to democratic principles of democratic structure and free and fair election internally. Respect for human rights. We are committed to upholding international human rights standards and ensuring that all individuals have equal rights and opportunities. Secularism. We believe in the complete separation of religion from politics, ensuring that no single religion or ideology dominates the political landscape as it's now. Non-violent transition. We are steadfast in our belief that a peaceful transition to democracy is essential for a long-term stability and prosperity of Iran in future. Women's rights and minority group. Our group advocates for the rights of women and ethnic minority in Iran who faces constant discriminations and violence. Women endure a strict dress code and repression, while ethnic minorities like Kurd, Baluch, and Azeris experience systematic discriminations. We strive to raise awareness and ensure these marginalized voices are heard, fighting for equality and justice. Benefit of having free Iran for the Middle East and the peace in the area. A democratic Iran would foster stability, peace, and cooperation in the Middle East. It could improve diplomatic ties with neighboring countries and the world, benefiting global relations, including with Australia. A free Iran could serve as a model for peace and human rights in a region affected by autocratic and conflict. And we are asking the Australian government to support Iran's fight for freedom and justice by raising awareness, applying pressure on the regime, imposing sanctions on violence of human rights, and supporting refugees. Australia's support would be crucial in our quest for a democratic, free Iran. The risk that we are facing, activists advocating for freedom faces significant risk, including threats, surveillance, and violence from the Iranian regime, even abroad. Despite these dangers, we remain committed to our cause. We ask for continued support in ensuring our safety and amplifying the voices of those fighting for freedom in Iran. As we gather here today, we call upon the Australian government and the international community to support the aspiration of the Iranian people for democracy and human rights. We also urge the Iranian diaspora to unite in the common cause and work together to bring about changes we all desire. Thank you for your attention and your support. Together, we can build a brighter future for Iran and for future generations. Thank you.